Hello, hello, y'all. Aloha. Welcome. I am Daniel Aaron, and I'm glad that you are with me, whether it is live or by rebroadcast. And this is different from everything else that I do live on the air, podcast, whatever it is. This is different because this is just us hanging out. This is me reading to you from this book, my book, The Art of Spiritual Leadership 40 Laws to Transform Your Life and the World, which, of course, you could purchase and read yourself if you wanted to. You can get it from all the major booksellers in Kindle or other e-reader and softcover, hardcover. You can get the Audible version where I read the entire thing, which begs the question then, perhaps, why do this? Well, it's a little different. One, you don't have to pay anything. Two, we're doing step by step, chunk by chunk. Three, there's a little bit of flexibility for interaction. So you're welcome to ask questions, make comments. I will pause periodically and check out and see. If you're watching by replay, I will come back and check the comments. So feel free. Questions, comments, awesome. Also, gives me a chance to share a little bit of stuff that I can't put in the book, right? You keep it moving. So, backstory, that kind of thing. So, let's get into it, shall we? Here we are in chapter 2. Not so far into chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called The Crack. And we spoke a bit about Ram Dass, aka Richard Alpert, and his journey there. And we had just come to the point where he'd had his Ram Dass had his first meeting with his guru and had his mind blown and received his new name. The next section is called When Your Eyes Are on God. Sometime after their initial meeting, Baba, that's his guru, learned of the curious substance in Ram Dass's possession. Baba called Ram Dass to meet him and told him to bring the LSD. Let's see it. The guru put his hand forward and looked Ram Dass in the eye. Ram Dass handed the paper sheet containing 100 doses of LSD to his guru. Many consider one dose to be powerful, mind-altering, and scary. 2 to 5 doses would only be taken by someone extremely brave or reckless. How does one take this? Baba seemed genuinely inquisitive. Despite Ram Dass's uncertainty as to what was appropriate with his guru, he elected to respond directly. He said one would put it in their mouth and absorb the chemicals, quickly feeding the drug into the bloodstream. Baba immediately put the entire sheet into his mouth. 100 doses. Ram Dass was aghast. Oh my God, he thought. I may have just killed the guru. Then Baba pulled his shawl up over his head, leaving Ram Dass sitting in front of a ghost-like figure. Baba began fidgeting, which then accelerated into a mild thrashing. Ram Dass could barely contain his discomfort, yet he had no idea what to do. Suddenly, the thrashing stopped, and Baba pulled his shawl back down on his shoulders. He looked at Ram Dass with the crystal stillness of clarity. When your eyes are on God, nothing else matters, Baba said. In that one statement, Neem Karoli Baba pointed to a worldview beyond the material and sense perception model, that there is more to life than what meets the eye. Those who have known that oneness by having opened the curtains of perception are liberated from duality. They can now step into the realm of samadhi, of bliss beyond description. I encourage you to pause for a moment and take a deep breath, and another, and then one more. Notice what is happening inside you as you digest these stories of Ram Dass and his guru. Re-engage that observer within, and as if watching from outside yourself, notice any thoughts or feelings that arise. As you pause to breathe into your belly once again. I encourage you to become even more curious about the human spirit. Is it part of you? It is the part of you that has experienced Ishvara. It knows that we are part and parcel of the divine. Ramdas learned in the first meeting with his guru that all of who we are, even the shadow, the shame, the judgment, is beautiful. Neem Karoli Baba saw him that way. Through clear eyes, those, quote, stains are not obstacles to love and are, in themselves, especially worthy of love. Maharaji had blown Richard Alpert's cover and mind by showing him in an instant that unconditional love was possible. And moreover, that he, Neem Karoli Baba, specifically loved and accepted all of Alpert, and in doing so, awakened Ramdas, whose name, once again, means servant of love. We all have the balloons of our potential tethered to pain, past conditioning, and love limitations. Your sandbags are different than mine or those of Richard Albert, yet you are much like him in that your mission is also to become a servant of love, of spirit. Pause for a moment and I just check in toward comments. Thanks for being with me, y'all. Let's go on. Next section is called Families. In my events, I would break the trainees into small groups that we referred to as families. We would start with a short discussion of what the word family might mean to each of us and how we were creating families in the sense of a group of people who love one another and are there to lend mutual support. I love this part of the curriculum. We'd assign the trainees to their families, creating diversity of age, gender, and background, considering country of origin and residence. We often had trainees from 20 or more countries in one event, religion, and socioeconomic status. The participants kept to these groups for the duration of the 4-week program, which fostered another level of comradeship and support. The majority of the family meetings took place without any teachers or mentors present, so it was a space of peer-to-peer connections and bonding. Usually, I encouraged them to meet somewhere they would feel a sense of intimacy, where they wouldn't be disturbed and could sit together in a circle as you might in your living room. By the time the trainees had been with us for several days, our transformational event had taken off. Then, amid the energy that was being generated, I would gather the trainees in the evening. All they knew, what was written on the schedule was still more. As in, we'd been at it already since our first practice session at 6 a.m. And, can you believe it? There's still more? The purpose of these meetings, I told them, was to practice the essential skills of honesty, vulnerability, and presence. Such attitudes are generally not condoned socially or exemplified by the people in our lives. And as we were becoming our most authentic selves in a 1-month dive into profound transformation, we had a unique opportunity to help one another in the safe zone we had created. We talked a lot about the therapeutic power of unconditional listening. You don't listen and then immediately say, "Oh, that reminds me of myself in such and such way." You don't quietly recommend a therapist after they get done sharing. You just listen. When I felt like I'd educated and encouraged them enough to help them seize the moment as an opportunity to open up bravely, I gave them their first assignment and sent them off to find their family rooms. They were to gather in their circle and then take a few moments to settle in, get connected, and center themselves. They would then proceed talking stick style, which borrows from a Native American tradition that the one with the talking stick is the only one permitted to speak. When the speaker finishes, they set the talking stick in the center of the circle, and then whoever wanted to go next would pick it up. Eventually, everyone would have at least one turn to share. The assignment that the first night was to tell the rest of their family about themselves through the following 2-part format. They said, "What I want you to know about me is," Then they might say something like, I'm Fatima. I'm Dubai. I grew up Muslim, and my family thinks it's weird that I want to be a yoga teacher. I love my husband and two sons a lot, and I think I'm a good mother to them. I love teaching people and sharing things I've learned. When they felt they'd told the family everything they wanted them to know, they would say, what I don't want you to know about me is, then they might say, sometimes I hate myself and I think I'm a horrible mother because I get so impatient with my boys. While I'm here to learn to be a yoga teacher, I'm terrified that I'm not good enough, that I never will be good enough. If we wish to truly awaken, to live as our truest selves, we need to learn to accept that seemingly contradictory characteristics or beliefs can simultaneously have some truth in them. This concept is so significant and such an important spiritual leadership axiom, they merit a practice that you can begin implementing immediately. It's simple, yet cuts deeply. Whenever you would normally say but, instead say and. Doing this, you embrace paradox. Instead of the second clause of the sentence making the first clause untrue, which is what buts do, the and connects the two clauses so that they are both true. I'd love to go to dinner with you on Friday, and I'm busy that night washing my hair. I'm a great father and sometimes a serious grouch. I love my teeny tiny doggies, and they sometimes drive me crazy with their yapping. If you begin removing your buts, replacing them with ands, I predict you will soon find that the buts are much more insistent than you might have guessed. I learned the but and distinction 3 decades ago, and I still catch myself saying unconscious buts on occasion when an and would be preferable, when the two statements are not, in fact, mutually exclusive. That's how deeply programming, and language specifically, can run. When I first heard of the but and distinction, it sounded stupid to me. I figured I'd give it a shot though, and when I did, it passed the test of being useful. It made a positive difference in my life. That's my invitation to you, listener. Try it on. See if it benefits you in your life and leadership. An effective approach for implementation is when you realize you've uttered a but, simply stop, rewind, and repeat the statement with and. That's a powerful tool we can borrow from film editors and use in many aspects of our lives. A scene in a film may not come out the way we'd like it to the first time. So the director says, cut, and when everyone is ready to start over, says, roll. By increasing your observation skills with increased by increasing your observation skills with increased presence, you can not only catch yourself acting out old programs, but you can also interrupt patterns, rewind, and install new empowering programs of your choosing. That could be an and. The first family sharing exercise was so powerful because it led the trainees to contemplate the many paradoxes in their lives. We are all many things. We're fantastic friends, and we can be selfish. We're great lovers, and sometimes we fall asleep right when our partner is heating up. We're human animals, and we're human spirits. Neem Karoli Baba not only knew this principle, he'd realized it in his life and experience. Remember what caused the crack? What was so startling and life-changing for Richard Alpert? It was the fact that he realized Baba saw all of him, the pride and the sincerity, the shameful and the noble, and still accepted him fully. And with that, my friends, we shall pause for today. If you tune in by rebroadcast, please feel free, question, comment. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being interested in The Art of Vibrant Living, and specifically this book. Thanks, y'all. See you soon. Aloha.